I'm not sure how many of you know about this, but there's a huge scam going on YouTube right now where people are getting tricked into deleting their own accounts. And they're not like small accounts or anything. I'm talking accounts with millions of subscribers. And it seems like they're targeting the smartest people on the platform. Like if you heard tomorrow Charlie was tricked into deleting his account and showing pictures of his cock on the internet, you'd be like, yep, that sounds about par for the course. That sounds like something Charlie would be tricked into doing. But when you hear Jim Browning was tricked into deleting his channel, you're wondering what the fuck went on? Who could outsmart Jim Browning? For those that don't know, he's an extremely large YouTuber who's famous for taking down scammers and taking down entire scam operations around the world. He's super good with computers. He is literally that cyber boogeyman that your parents were afraid of in the year 2000, where they thought if you opened Microsoft Office and typed :XD, that you all of a sudden your emails were going to be hacked, your credit card information stolen, your bank account drained. He is that guy. He can do like anything with a computer that you could possibly imagine. If you accidentally say hello to Jim wrong on the internet, he's got all your fucking information ready. This guy hacked into the CCTV cameras at a scam headquarters just to gather evidence on them one time to take them down. It's incredible. It's like on Xbox Live when you'd hear some asshole say like, yeah, my dad works for Bungie and we've got all your information now, so get ready to get banned. Except Jim Browning is actually able to do that. He is that. Like, this guy is a real-life L from Death Note. Super smart guy, super great guy, and he recently was the main victim to a YouTube scam that convinced him to delete his own channel. Today he posted a video going through exactly how the scam works. It's a great video. I highly encourage you to check it out. And I want to talk about it just a little bit and give a bit of a summary, as well as a little advice for any YouTubers out there on how to avoid it. He does as well, but there's a couple things that he doesn't touch on that I'd like to. He's also not the only victim of this scam. Another very smart and large YouTuber named The Spiffing Brit was also convinced to delete his YouTube account in what appears to be the exact same scam. And allegedly, these aren't the only two, but these are the biggest two that I can find that have confirmed to have fallen for the scam. So how does it work? Jim Browning has it all covered from start to finish. He recorded the entire interaction with the scammer, but I'll just do a little caveman breakdown. Bad man pretend to be Google. They were able to send a real email from a real Google account at google.com. They sent an email saying you have a duplicate AdSense on your YouTube account. As a result, we'll be suspending your channel. If you want to talk about it and try and rectify this, you can join our YouTube support chat. And then there's a link, and the link actually takes you to a real YouTube support chat. So this entire time you see at google.com, and it really is at Google. It is a real YouTube support chat. So there's nothing too suspicious about that, and that is a real error that happens on the platform, I imagine, with duplicate AdSense accounts. So all of those check the boxes of, might be legit. So upon joining the YouTube support, they walk you through how to fix the problem, though there is something Jim Browning points out. When you're in the YouTube support page, there is a discrepancy with the email that you're talking to. It's at creatorpartners.com, which isn't right. That is the wrong email, but by this point, you're already convinced that this is really YouTube support. So, as he mentioned, he wasn't paying enough attention to it and didn't think anything of it. And I imagine it's the same for the Spiffing Brit. So after talking with them, they walk you through the steps on how to fix it, which is moving your channel, the one with 3.3 million subscribers in Jim Browning's case, to a blank channel that they have you create, saying, we're going to take this channel and move it here, and this is going to fix the AdSense problem. Well, in doing that, you have to, in the move, delete the original channel. So you end up deleting that channel, and now you're left with just a blank channel. Now, this isn't the goal of the scammer. Once you get to that step, what they want you to do next is fill out a forum so that way they can access your original account. And this is where Jim Browning's, all of his sirens were going off, and we entered DEFCON alert where he realized it really was a scam. In that forum, they ask you for some really odd information that no company would ever ask for, which is stuff like your password. So that is the biggest tip. No one and nothing that is official will ever ask for your password to anything. So upon seeing that, he closed the case. He knew it was a scam, but then tried to get more information out of him. The scammer started bragging after he was caught, saying that he's worth $2.5 million off of this scam, and that he has 12 accounts, some with 6 million, some with 3 million. None of that Jim was able to confirm, but it is worth at least mentioning. And then today, the Spiffing Brit posted this picture about how his channel was deleted and he was tricked into deleting it himself by a scam. So you're led to believe that it's this same scam. Now, I don't know how far the Spiffing Brit has gone, if he actually did fill out that form and give away his password, which I would be very surprised if he did. I don't think he did that. I'm sure he noticed it was a scam at that same point, but by then, your goose is already cooked. You've deleted your channel, and now you're left with nothing except at the mercy of YouTube, who does have the capability to reinstate channels. Jim Browning is fully back online, everything's back and running, he's got all his videos back, everything's as it was before this scam even happened. But it is still a huge hassle, especially if they did go through with giving the password, because now the account's compromised, the scammer has it, and they can take whatever revenue the account makes. So that is a big problem. Though Jim said even if he did give the password, he thinks two-factor probably would have protected his account, and I agree, that probably would have stopped it in its tracks. But let's assume the creator doesn't have two-factor on, well, then they'd be fucked right then and there. So that's just a breakdown very briefly of how it all played out. It's a lot more intricate than I'm giving it credit for with my explanation. Jim goes into detail and shows just how convincing it is, but that's pretty much how it all went down. So, how can you avoid something like this? Well, the first thing you need to understand is YouTube doesn't communicate. So if you get an email from YouTube saying anything, it's probably just a fucking scam. I've been on this platform for 15 years. Do you know how many emails I've received from YouTube? Almost fucking none. I can count them on one hand, probably. I just don't get YouTube emails for anything, and I imagine that's the case for most people on YouTube. When I get like a copyright claim or anything, I don't get like an email or anything about it. I just see it on my account. You know, I'd never get emails from YouTube. So getting anything from YouTube about like, hey, there's a problem and we want to fix it, are you fucking serious? YouTube yet never wants to fix anything, let alone reach out to you to try and get it fixed. It just doesn't fucking happen. So that should immediately be the biggest red flag, is getting contact from Google or YouTube. The only time I have contact with YouTube or Google is through my partner manager, or anyone I know at the company, you know? DMs or emails of people that I personally know at the company, never from YouTube or Google itself. So that just doesn't seem to happen to anyone. And when it does, it's usually shady, like in this case. So that's my biggest piece of advice. And then the other big thing is, don't just trust the domain blindly. As Jim points out towards the end of the video, it seems like anyone can send an email from a real @Google domain without actually being representative of Google. So just because a domain looks legit or even is a legit domain, don't let that just be a pass for everything they say. Don't just write it off because the domain was real. Because, again, in Jim's case, it really was from Google, but it was a scammer that was able to use the Google domain. And it seems like anyone can do that. So that's just the other thing to be aware of. That's really about it. It's a pretty wild scam, and definitely the most intricate that I think I've ever seen on my history on this platform. I've never seen one actually be able to target extremely smart people successfully. Usually you'd see it happen to channels that are like prank channels or something, not actual fucking 500 IQ scam exposers and extremely smart YouTubers that expose exploits in the world like Spiffing Brit. Like, the fact that it got those two means it could get fucking anybody. So, you know, be cautious out there. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah.